Hi guys. So I know what you're gonna say. It's been a little longer than 2 weeks. I know I filmed my initial first impressions about Flower Beauty around Thanksgiving. And I was supposed to test it out for a couple weeks and let you know and before Christmas, and today is not Christmas. Anyway, but we're finally here. We're here. So let's get into it. So there's a lot of good and a lot of not so good and a lot of meh. So there's a lot to go through and I'm just going to speed through it. So first I'm going to talk about their primers. So I tested all these out. Let's start with the pore minimizing primer. I didn't really find that it minimized my pores. I noticed, especially right here on the sides of my nose, that after I put this in, whether it was really rubbing it in, patting it in, smoothing it in, whatever it was, it didn't fill my pores as well as some other pore minimizing primers. So for me, this is a pass. The next one is the hydrating primer. I have really dry skin and I found that this helped a little bit. But I also feel like if you have a really good skincare routine and a really good moisturizer, that this is kind of unnecessary because I didn't feel like it extended the wear of my foundation either. And so if you're going to be using this just as a hydrating moisturizer, I feel like there's better ones out there. So for me personally, this is also a pass. This one, however, the illuminating primer, I really found that I liked, which was a little bit surprising because I don't like to look really glittery, but this one is not glittery at all. And it gave my skin just that subtle glow. Even underneath a pretty full coverage foundation, I still found that this peeked through just enough to give my skin a nice, healthy, fresh, glowy look. And I really liked it, so this is a yes. The next thing, let's talk about their foundations. And I know they have other foundations. This was just the things that I could buy at my local Walmart because I didn't want to order all these things online and then you find something that speaks to you, you want to go buy, you go to Walmart and you can't find it. I don't want you to have to go and buy something online and have to wait. Like if you want it, you want it. So I know that they have different foundations, but these ones just didn't work for me. At first I really liked them. I don't know why. But I found after I used them time and time again that they didn't give me very much coverage at all. They are more of a tint, but they're thick. It looks like you have foundation on your skin. And for me, if it looks like I have foundation on my skin, I want there to be coverage. I don't want no coverage and then it look all cakey and yucky. So if you want something with sheer coverage that looks like your skin, this MAC Face and Body is phenomenal. It is quite a bit more expensive, but this has lasted me a long time. So yeah, this is a total pass. Total complete pass. I don't like it at all. The next thing is their face powders. There's this Flower Beauty Miracle Matte Universal Finishing Powder. I like this okay. It's not something that I'm going to reach for very often because I have dry skin. And so I get a little bit oily in my T-zone. And so the only time I find myself reaching for it is setting my nose and my chin and my forehead or touching it throughout the day. This is not something that I like setting my whole face, especially under my eyes at all. Because compared to my RCMA No Color Powder, the Miracle Matte Finishing Powder is so much heavier. It felt like I had powder on my skin, whereas this, you can barely notice it. So, and underneath my eyes, it made it look really dry and really crepey and wrinkly and blah. So, if you have oily skin, play around with it and see if it's something that you like. I just wouldn't suggest setting your under eye concealer with it. So the next thing, I'm not quite sure how to feel about it. And this is the Miracle Glow Satin Finishing Powder. And this, I hate the packaging. Because what I like to do is I like to take the powder and tap some in the lid. And this makes it really hard to do. And there's this powder puff with it. and it just seems like all the powder is getting everywhere, and the package is huge. Compared to like how much is actually in there, like most of it is just the lid. So that's one strike against it, which I can overlook if it's like a phenomenal product. But it didn't really wow me. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but it didn't wow me. So if this is something that speaks to you, by all means, go out, buy it, try it. If you don't like it, Walmart has an excellent return policy. If you hate it, return it. So there's that. Sorry, so far this has not been very positive. I promise there are some really good things. I promise. Just stick with me. So the next thing is their blushes. These are so good. You put them on, it doesn't even feel like you have anything on. The color is pigmented, but it doesn't just stick to one spot and refuse to blend. They blend really well. They're pretty. The colors are really great. I really like these. They're good. Go try them out. But for their cream blushes, these are the Lip and Cheek Chubby, which I tried these several different ways, and I didn't like it anyway. When you put your foundation on and then you go to put this on, it just takes the foundation off. It rubs it around, it removes it. Whatever it is, you end up seeing your skin underneath. And I hate that. And it didn't really blend well. And I tried it several different ways. I tried first putting it on before I set my face with powder, and it moved things around. I tried after powder, and it was even worse. I tried applying these directly to the cheek and blending it in with fingers. I tried blending it in with brushes. I tried putting it on the back of my hand, warming it up with my fingers and just tapping it in. I tried doing that with a brush. I tried it so many ways, and I just couldn't get these to work. And the only way I could see this really working is if you put it on underneath a sheer to medium foundation, and that might work. I personally didn't try that because I have a lot of redness in my cheeks anyway, and so this would be an unnecessary over the top. I would have a lot of redness showing up. The only way I could see that working is if it were a color more like this one, where it was a kind of a peachy color. This is Apricot a Lot, to kind of cancel out that bright redness, but even then I don't love these. And on the lips, they're just really gritty and not very smooth. So overall, these lip and cheek chubbies, it's a pass. Let's talk about some good things. On the other hand, their highlighting sticks, I don't know how they did it, but no matter how you put these on, at least for me, in my experience, they worked. First, I tried just right on top of foundation before I set my face, and they were beautiful. They're a little more subtle than their powders, and they blend in really well, and they show up on the skin nice and subtly. You can build it up for a better, stronger highlight. And I even tried it on top of powder. And it worked wonderfully. I don't know how they did it, but these, if you like a stick highlighter, try these out. And then their other highlighting, this is their highlighting trio. I love these. I've reached for these so many times within the last couple months. They are phenomenal. The only thing I will say is on here it says a natural luminous glow. There is nothing natural about this. It is very intense, very blinding, very, very highlighty. So keep that in mind. If you like something a little more natural and subtle, you'd have to have a super, super light touch to get these to work how you would want them to work. Other than that, I like a really pretty intense glow. So I love these. I reach for these a lot. And then for their face trio, this is their Lift and Sculpt Contouring Palette. I like it. The only thing I don't like about it is it's super, super powdery. When you dip your brush in, powder gets everywhere. And so you need to always be dusting it off or blowing it off. Otherwise, the contour kind of gets into the blush and the highlight, and then things start to look muddy. And I can't handle that. I do use it occasionally, especially this highlight color is a lot like that in the highlight palette. It is beautiful. It just doesn't speak to me very much. I don't reach for it very often because it is so powdery and I don't want to deal with that. Their other blushes are not powdery like that. They have a lot of color payoff, but you put your brush in and there's no kick up. These are, I don't know why the blush formula is so different, but I don't love this. Okay, and then last for face is the finishing spray. I like these, I don't love these. The nozzle on it, I don't know what is wrong, if I got like a defective nozzle on both of them. But they spit at me. Like, it looks like a nice fine mist, but there's like 1 or 2 giant drops that like to land on my face every time I squirt this. And I either have to go back in with a sponge and blend that out, or if I wait for it to dry, there's this massive white spot on my face that I have to like pick off, or just have people wonder what's wrong with my skin. So I didn't love this. And also the dewy finish one, I didn't notice a huge difference between the dewy and the matte formula. I don't know if it's because I already have dry skin, but I was expecting more from the dewy finish one. I was expecting it to be a little bit more hydrating and dewy. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so for their brows, I didn't love this because the tip of it isn't very fine. And I like something where I can add little hair brush strokes and have it not be so thick and obvious. I want it to look a little more natural. So this was a pass from me. And then for their brow mascara, I don't like the little comb that comes with it. I prefer a spoolie, so I don't use that part at all. And then for the actual brow mascara, I actually really like how long the brush is. The only thing that I don't love about it is it doesn't hold my brows in place as well as I was expecting. After a few hours, these little tail end hairs will just kind of be doing their own thing, which if I put product in my brows, I want it to work. I don't want to have to go back and touch up, because brows is a thing where the more you add, the worse it looks. So this is like meh. You can try it out, see if you like it, but it didn't impress me. So on to eyeliners, which they have a lot, and some of them are good, some of them are not so awesome. This one is their Kohl Smudging Eyeliner. If you like a smudging eyeliner, this one isn't bad. It's really creamy, and that's what I found a problem with a lot of these, is they're a little too creamy. They move around a little too much. They don't stay in place as well as I want them to, and that's with the Kohl liner, and then the glossy liners and the Forever Wear liners. And so, not my favorite liners, but you might have a different experience, so yeah. And then for their liquid liners, this is the Eye Marker and Volumizing Mascara. This one, the liner is just not pigmented enough. Like, if I want something black, I want it to be black. If I want something gray, I'll go buy the gray. I don't want a penny waist black. I want it to be black. And then their mascara on this side is just, no, it didn't work at all for me. No, not at all. But then for their liquid eyeliner, this one wasn't bad. It definitely felt like there was eyeliner on your eye, but I feel like that is the case with a lot of this type of liquid eyeliner. It lasts a long time. The tip is fairly fine, and so you can get a pretty precise wing on it. So this was not bad. I just don't reach for eyeliner very often, so these didn't wow me either. Okay, for this Zoom In Ultimate Mascara, this is a cool idea, but I'll show you what I hate about it. Here's the thing. If you want a really subtle mascara, this is great. There wasn't enough color payoff to make me want to use it again. And then the other thing is when I was applying this, I thought I had forgotten how to apply mascara without like stabbing my eyeball. So the whole thing about this is fully extended. Then you twist this little knob at the end and it shortens the mascara wand. The problem with that is some of the little bristles poke out farther than other ones. So when I was applying this, trying to test out when it was fully twisted down, I kept stabbing my eyeball. And that hurts. Have you ever stabbed your eyeball with a mascara wand? It doesn't feel well. I did that like 10 times on each eye. I thought I like forgot how to put makeup on. So I guess use at your own risk. But I didn't like it. I haven't reached for it since. Not worth the risk to me. So this is their eye primer. This In Your Prime Ultimate Eye Primer. This is good. If you like a non-tinted primer, this is good. My eyeshadow, whenever I used this, didn't move, it didn't crease, it didn't fade. This is good. My only problem is I prefer something with pigment to it, so it covers up any darkness, pigmentation, veins, coloration in my eyelids, and so what you see is the eyeshadow instead of the veins poking through. So I don't reach for this just because I prefer using concealer or a tinted eye primer. And then there are these eyeshadow chubbies. If you're wanting to put these on and nothing else, you're going to be disappointed because they crease really quickly. And so you need to set them, which is kind of irritating because this is kind of a thing where, you know, you can throw in your bag when you're traveling, a 1-step, 2-step type of swipe it on your eye, blend it out with your finger, and you're good to go. That's not the case. When you blend it out, you want to set it right away with some kind of powder, whether it's another similar color eyeshadow or a translucent powder, something. You'll need to set these, otherwise they will crease, and that drives me absolutely bonkers. So these for me is not worth the hassle, in my opinion. Okay, I have kind of mixed feelings about these. I really like these. The shimmer shades are excellent. They are phenomenal. They're gorgeous. They're pigmented. They're smooth. They glide on really well. They blend really well. But the darker shades, they just don't have enough pigment. Like this palette with the black in it, when I go and reach for a black eyeshadow, I want it to be a black eyeshadow. If I want a gray eyeshadow, I'll go and find a gray eyeshadow. I don't want to dip my brush into a black expecting black to come off onto my eyes and get like a washed out gray, which is not necessarily bad, especially for beginners. You don't want something super intense that will frustrate you because you just like, now you have a giant black eye because you put too much eyeshadow on. But I didn't find these very easy to build either. I had to go back in several times, and I didn't even get the intensity that I wanted. So the eyeshadows are fine, but it's not something I reach for very often because it takes me too long to get the eye look that I'm looking for because the darker shades just aren't pigmented enough for me. If you're just starting out with makeup, playing around, you're a little bit timid to play with dark or intense colors, then try these out. You might really like these, but for me, I don't want that frustration. I want something a little faster. So these are like an awesome but not awesome product for me. So, but the brushes are really nice. I really like the brushes. They work really well for blending out. You guys, their lip products are some of the best I have ever tried. Their liquid lipsticks are phenomenal. You put them on, they're kind of a light moussey texture, and they feel so comfortable all day long. It doesn't feel overly drying. Now it is a liquid lip, a matte liquid lip, so you have to keep that in mind. They are more drying than a cream lipstick or a lip balm or lip gloss. But for a matte liquid lip, these are incredible. And all of them are super pigmented. They're not streaky. The only thing I will say is for any of the colors, but especially the darker colors, put really, really thin layers on, because I found that when I just tried to put one thick layer on and run out the door, they settled into the lines in my lips, and that's not a good look. So that's the only thing that I would kind of warn you about. But other than that, these are phenomenal. I love these, and all of the colors are really great too. If you are a traditional lipstick girl, these are for you. You will love these. These are so great. They're pigmented, they're not streaky, all of the colors, the light colors and the dark colors. They're not streaky, they're pigmented, they go on really well, they're so comfortable. They're not completely transfer proof, but they're long wearing, and it seems like they fade really nicely. They don't come off in chunks or fade funny on the inside of your mouth. They fade really well. Which is nice because you can kind of wipe and tap things in, reapply, and it looks brand new again. These are phenomenal. There are two different formulas. There's a cream formula and a matte formula, and I like them both equally. Right now I'm wearing the color Peachy Nude, and it is a wonderful, just kind of your lips but better peachy nude color. I love, love, love these lipsticks, so go try these out. Go try these out right now. These are great. Okay, the last thing are their brushes and sponges, at least the ones that I tested out. So here's the thing with some of their brushes. I wasn't a huge fan of this just because I found that it either wasn't dense enough or the bristles were too long and floppy, and so I didn't feel like I had a lot of control over it. So this large powder brush, meh. Especially for the price. I feel like you can get cheaper, better brushes. This one wasn't bad. I kind of like this one. It felt like it was small enough to contour with, but big enough to blend it out really well. So this one wasn't too bad. It's just, I think for the price, it makes me stop and go, is it really worth it? I just typically don't like these kind of paddle style foundation brushes. I don't know why I picked it up and decided to try it, but maybe I was looking for a miracle. But I didn't really like it. And then this fluffy eyeshadow brush, I like it, but I don't love it. It's really large. So I feel like it'd be good to set your primer or concealer, but for my eyelids, I had a hard time blending things out and not getting them all over. So it's a good brush, but I don't reach for it like ever. So I'm sorry. This one though, I think this is their lip brush. None of them have names actually on the handle, so I'm not sure what it is. But this one, you can either use it for a lip brush, or what I like to use it for is really getting into the corners of your eyes right here, applying highlight to the corner of your eye or even underneath your brow bone. Anywhere that needs really tiny detail work, it would even be good for like a sealer brush. So yeah, this one's a go for me. I like this one. But other than that, I didn't really love any of their brushes. And then their beauty sponge, their makeup beauty sponge is probably my favorite. It is super soft and squishy. It blends things out beautifully and flawlessly. By far my favorite sponge, even compared to the Real Techniques or EcoTools ones, which those ones are really good too, but this one I have kind of fallen in love with, and I haven't stopped using it. So yeah, this is a winner. You need this too. Go get it. I think that's it, you guys. I think we got through all of it. Hopefully this video isn't like a million hours long, because one, I don't want to edit that, and two, who's gonna watch that? I don't know. I don't know if I would. If you like this kind of video, then let me know. And let me know either in the comments below, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere that I'm at, or just tell me in person, I guess. Let me know what other brands you want me to test out. There's a lot at the drugstore. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.